What's up, sellers? If you have been spending any time in the advertising UI recently, you may have noticed a new feature, the impression share and impression rank of suggested keywords. If you have noticed it, it's a pretty nice little tool that Amazon has created, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to roll that out. Welcome back to the Sunken Stone channel, where agencies, DIYers, and brands learn tips, tricks, and tutorials on how to sell better on Amazon. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's going to help you out. It's going to help you sell better on Amazon, and who doesn't want to do that? So with that, let's get started. So today we're looking at the suggested keyword box. So if you're unaware, you can go into a campaign and click this add keywords box. So essentially what we're looking at right now are the keywords that Amazon thinks belong in a campaign. If you haven't already, go ahead and download the Amazon advertising hierarchy in the description. That's our little PDF that's going to show you exactly how we name campaigns and in what order we set them up. If you're a little bit confused about how to sort of go about all these different targeting types and features, download that, do exactly what I say, and you'll end up saving yourself some money. So do that right away if you haven't already. That is in the description. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go read that, apply it, and then come back to this video. So we're looking, and right now we're looking at a research campaign, which is our non-exact match keyword campaign. We now use phrase match, although there are some people that use broad match. So that's all pertinent for this next section of the video. So today we're looking at a research campaign. Now, so things are changing on Amazon generally with the way these things look. So if you're watching this video 6 months from now, this might not look the same, but hopefully all these features are still existent. So how would I roll out a feature like this? How would I use it in order to better optimize my campaign? So first of all, we're looking at phrase match. So I'm gonna unclick the exact and broad. If you're adding keywords to a broad match, then you'd take out the phrase and exact, take out phrase and broad. And I typically do not like to use Amazon suggested bids because I don't feel like they're very true. But you'll be able to see roughly like sort of what Amazon's doing to help you out and maybe make those suggested keywords make a little bit of sense. Until that though, what I like to do, so we're looking at the add keyword screen. I'm gonna hop off really quick. So I like to look at CPCs and bids for all of our top spending keywords just to see like roughly where everything's shaking out to be. That'll help me dictate, where I want to start these bids, because you can waste a lot of time doing suggested bids. Sometimes they suggest it too low. Sometimes they suggest it too high for keywords that are within the same sort of competitive niche. Sometimes you'll have $10 bids. Sometimes you'll have $2 bids. And I don't feel like that's very advantageous for you getting good, consistent data and performing well from an ACoS standpoint. So I generally, at the start, keep bids pretty flat, and then I'll just adjust them as time goes on. So we're looking at add keywords. I'm gonna do custom bid, remembering that CPCs typically shake out to be 60% of whatever your bid amount is. So just using some rough head math, I was seeing like fives. We might not want to go as competitive as the keywords that we know work. So I was seeing CPCs in the mid fives. That would mean a bid of around 8. So I'm just gonna drop that down to a 6.5. So 6.5, gonna make that my custom bid, take out this exact and broad. And now what are we looking at here? Impression share, impression rank. Impression share is how many of the searches that we're getting impressions for relative to all the impressions received that are taking place. 0 means you're not getting any impressions. 100% would mean that every time somebody searches, you're getting seen. So you are always getting that top spot. You always have full budget for it. Doesn't always happen like that, but that's essentially what that means. Impression rank is where in the bidding order you are. So this is super helpful information. I'm going to tell you exactly how to use this. So we're looking at this right now. So before we even, I'm going to backtrack a little bit, but if you were looking at a campaign and you were trying to determine like how well optimized is this campaign, I'm looking at broad, phrase, and exact. So all of these top keywords that Amazon is suggesting, minus this one, don't have phrase match. So that means I've gone ahead and identified a lot of the keywords that like are being associated with our product, and I'm executing on them. So that's all a good sign. That like the fact that Amazon isn't suggesting a bunch of phrase match keywords means we've identified a lot of the ones that are working. And what we're looking at right now is some of the data that Amazon has collected either through just different loose targeting or automatic targeting. So how Amazon knows Like for this phrase match keyword, Amazon knows that we're impression rank 2 and we're getting the impression share 18% of the time. So what that means is we're doing really well for that keyword. Our impression share is relatively low, however, and we haven't identified that for phrase match. So all those signals together, high impression rank, impression share actually relatively low compared to where this is. So here's a different keyword where impression rank 2, impression share 26. So we're, got a lot of exposure there. So if you see something where you have high impression rank, sort of mid-tier low impression share relative to some of the other keywords that you're seeing, that would be your indicator to say, hey, we definitely need to add that. And you can tell just based off what kind of keyword it is, if you know your product well enough, whether or not you need to add them. So if you have a lot of keywords, like let's say you're adding phrase match, and you have all 3 of these boxes ticked, and you see a bunch of phrase match keywords, that means you have a lot of work to do. You need to add a bunch of keywords. And if you see high impression ranks and low impression shares, that means you're under advertised and you need to do more work to get exposure there. Amazon's basically telling you, hey, you have good opportunities and you need to use them. So in this situation, after gathering that information, I'm gonna get rid of this exact, get rid of this broad. I'm gonna add that keyword I was talking about. Amazon's suggested bid is 0.71 to 2.93. I think we need to go higher than that. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that. This one we're impression rank 19 and impression share 0.02. And I know that the ingredient that we're looking at as far as this keyword isn't necessarily super relevant, so I'm not going to add this keyword right at this moment because this is a campaign where the ACoS is a little bit high. So you need to make some of these decisions based off the performance of the campaign itself and what kind of goals you have. If you want to increase exposure a lot, add a bunch of keyword. If you're ACoS conscious, be a little bit more gentle. But just going down this right now, I'm seeing a lot of good keywords that we could add. Amazon has identified these keywords based off what the automatic campaigns have bid on, which if you follow some of my videos, you can look at the how to set up Amazon PPC in 5 minutes video here if you want to just check. Sometimes we don't start automatic campaigns right away, but after we've collected a little bit of data, we pretty much always have automatic campaigns turned on. So Amazon's going to collect this data and then it's going to serve it up to you on a platter to say, hey, we think these keywords are going to be good for you and you can add them to your campaigns. So just looking through here, I'm seeing a lot of good stuff. A little good stuff, I'm not going to say a lot, but definitely a worthwhile exercise. So this is a campaign that I've been optimizing for a while. I'd felt pretty good about the keywords that I was including, and despite all that, I found 5 really good phrase match keywords that I'm going to go ahead and add and increase some exposure for. So that little exercise alone on that campaign, it's going to lead to a nice little boost in sales. So Amazon is introducing new features to help you optimize. They're helping you collect that data and leverage it without having to use just a bunch of software tools. And I think it's going to be a big hit for sellers. So pay attention to impression share, pay attention to impression rank, do what I outlined in this video, and you can find a lot of good opportunities for increasing your sales. So there you have it, everyone. I hope this video was helpful. Once again, if you haven't already downloaded it, check out the Amazon advertising hierarchy in the description. That's gonna give you a lot of good tips and sort of a general guideline on how to set these campaigns up. If you don't already have it, it's a great resource. I put it together myself. So it's gonna be something that's gonna really, really help out, I'd say 99% of Amazon sellers. If you want more tips on how to reduce your ACoS, check out this video. It's our 7 tips to reduce campaign-wide ACoS. Really helpful stuff. You could be saving thousands of dollars just from that video view alone. And with that, happy optimizing, everyone.